Slightly above average gamers, way above average podcast. Welcome to the Slightly Above Average Gaming Podcast with your hosts, J007TV and Subone KD.
All right.
Sweet.
Oh, I got to do that on my phone first.
So I've started having Riverside just automatically download the audio, but it catches like the pre-show a little bit. So just a heads up. I know
it does what?
It carries this pre-show, this like little banter we have while we share everything.
I don't care.
Yeah, it's not. We don't say anything cancelable anyways. So and then,
I'm about to say something cancelable if fucking Twitter doesn't start letting me share this on the first time.
No sharing for you. How dare you? How dare you?
So that is done. Okay. That's done. All right, let's get it. It feels like forever since we've done this because we did that episode on Tuesday.
I know. It's been a minute.
Although, I'm not going to lie. Like, it has been kind of nice having my Saturday mornings a couple times. You know what I mean? Like, it's nice having that, but
it's a nice little, keep a nice little break. Okay. Let's see here. All right, let's get it going. Let's get started. We got a lot to do in a shorter amount of time to do it than I'd prefer.
Good morning and welcome everyone to episode 98 of the Slightly Above Average Gaming Podcast. I am J007TV, joined as always by the homie Subone KD. What up, homie?
What's going on, buddy? It's been a week. It's been a busy week on my end. I mean, we usually chat just about every day. We have not talked, I think, at all this week. Maybe one quick message back and forth. But I have been slammed. How about you?
What's it? Wait, whoa. What do you got going on, bro?
Okay. So as I've said before, I am working on a master's. I have completed. So this was basically finals week. So I wrapped up one of my toughest terms. So usually I take one class for a while. The last two terms I decided to push myself and I took two classes. And then I sat there and I looked at the calendar and said, I don't want to do this until the end of the year. So I took 4 classes. And that was just mental suicide. That was insanity.
Emotional damage.
Yes. Let's see. I think I have that.
Emotional damage.
And so I had all of that wrapping up on Wednesday, due by 9 p.m. So that was final projects, all the fun things in life. Wrap that up, and then immediately turned around and accepted a job offer to go back to tech. So I'm going back into that starting on Tuesday. So it has been a mad dash to put that together. I have been basically working, I have, no matter what I've been doing, I've been working from home for like 4 years now. Like pretty much since the pandemic, I've been either work from home or I have been doing like stuff on construction sites. Like I haven't actually sat down and done, been in an office in years. You can imagine the smell. So my wife is like, yeah, you cannot wear your current wardrobe to the office. You will just be thrown out.
Y'all going shopping?
And we haven't used our second car also in about the same amount of time. It's been sitting for like 2 years. We just have not driven it because we don't need it. And so it has been a mad dash to get everything pulled together because the new role is hybrid. So I'm 3 days in the office. So I have to actually look presentable, be able to get to the office in one piece, et cetera. And so I have just been absolutely wildly slammed. And then of course today is my and my wife's anniversary. And so we have been squeezing stuff like that in, somehow managed to get permission to come out and talk to you all. So yeah, it's been a busy week. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, it's been fairly busy. I've been local this week and last week. My daughter actually turns 13 tomorrow. So,
oh my God, you have a teenager.
Yeah. Now I'll have 2 of them. Yeah, so that's fun. So we got some festivities for that this weekend. But like as far as the week goes, I've been local. Dude, I actually took off Monday and Wednesday from playing games. I didn't play. I just chilled out and just
that's what happens when Battlefield crashes that hard.
Yeah,
no one's playing, right?
Yeah. Well, and it's funny, like I'm just kind of at a point where, the game is just not that important to me right now, and I don't know if it's because I'm mostly playing solos or if it's just kind of the state of the game, which I'm having fun when I play it, but it's just like I'm good for about 3 hours now, which is significantly less on most days than what I used to play. And then I'm over it. I'm ready to hop off and just chill out. And I've been, I've been really pushing from a fitness standpoint and, with the workouts and everything else. And I mean, I think that's actually probably where my focus has been, and like just what's been occupying my mind more than anything else is just trying to get right physically. And, I have goals to make, that I want to hit. I don't know that I'm going to hit them. Cause dude, I fucked up. So I started counting my macros, right? And I fucked up on Monday because I'm trying to be in a calorie deficit every day.
Yep.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to do that when you have a Freddy's strawberry cake explosion shake worth 1,200 fucking calories. So it's the one time. So it's like,
that's basically, there's your food right then and there.
Pretty much, dude. Pretty much. That's been so like I had that on Monday, and it was just like it's the one time that I have not been in a calorie deficit. But I'm also struggling too to get enough protein. Holy shit, I didn't realize how hard that is.
Yeah.
But
it's
anyway. Yeah, man. So have you gotten any Warzone in at all since season 5?
Oh, I have. Yeah, absolutely. So my other, on top of all of that, I decided I got close enough and went and finished. Was it Abyss, the Warzone camo challenge? So got that done. And so that was a adventure. This. I like that there's a Warzone camo challenge. I think Black Ops 6 has done a poor job of handling the camo grind compared to the 2 MW entries. Personally, let's put it this way. I hit Gold Tiger on a couple of different weapons that, by the way, I hit the multiplayer mastery on. Like, I don't know, what is that one called? I don't even know. Dark Matter. Right? Is it Dark Matter? Yeah.
Something like that.
So I did the Dark Matter grind in multiplayer, and there were multiple weapons where I actually hit Gold Tiger, and the weapon was still not max level. Like, I want to be clear. Like, if you can get mastery camos from 2 different grinds on the same gun, and it's not max level, you got something wrong with how your system is set up. Like, there's a fundamental problem, and I think it's fundamentally wrong with how Black Ops 6 has been set up from the beginning. Like, everything about this game is about creating time in game, not for rewards, but just for basic functionality. Like, and I think it's an ideology that Treyarch has had repeatedly. And they just, for whatever reason, they are like hell-bent on this. They don't want to give you anything. They just want to make you have to work extra for the basics.
Well, look at how Sledgehammer did Vanguard with the 70 fucking levels for each weapon. I feel like that's a shift that Activision in general or Call of Duty in general has gone to, where like it's taking a long time to max out weapons, much less get the mastery camos and everything else. And it's all about what? Playtime.
I will say I don't think that it's the same because progression on those 70 levels went way faster. And I'm going to point out, too, that they had multiple things going on simultaneously, which is something that BO6 does not have. So in Vanguard, if you remember, operators had levels, too. and operators playing with the right gun. Like if you match your operator with the right gun, then it's then things go faster. So like the incentive was for you to play. The incentive was actually for you to play with different things, right? It was trying to encourage you to try different options so that you could play with different operators and different weapons and like level them together, and you got even faster progression.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think like I think that's a different story. And I will also say this: you could get weapons usable faster for the most part in Vanguard than I think you do in, at least with launch weapons here in Black Ops 6. I mean, I just like I didn't get to really use the 100-round XM4 in Warzone 8 because Warzone wasn't working well, but you know, I had completed the first stage of the camo grind. I had it gold and didn't need to touch it again, and never unlocked the 100-round mag. I didn't unlock the 100-round mag until like the week before they nerfed it.
Well, see, here's the thing though. So that's the difference between what you and I do, right? Your camos first. I'm max out weapons first. You know what I mean? Like that's why I was able to use that from day one, because you know why? Because I went, when the game came out, that's all I focused on was just maxing out all of my ARs, all of my SMGs. And then I went to like snipers and maxed those out too. But like I did it in that order. And that's the way I approach every single Call of Duty, is since Warzone came out anyway. You know, so I could just make sure I had whatever attachments. Because personally, I don't give a fuck about camos that much. I did more so this year than any other year, but I did it after I maxed out the weapons, so it wasn't a big deal to me.
Yeah, but I'm going to contrast it to MW3 and MW2 for that matter, right? The camo grind was level dependent, right? So you unlocked different levels of the base camos based on your weapon level. So you had to max level the weapon in order to get gold. Like you could not hit gold without a max level weapon or damn near close to it. And I think that's a difference, you know, because in this one you could start right away, right? Because it was all headshots, which helped in a lot of ways. I mean, like comparing to previous games, the number of headshots required should have equated to max leveling the weapon, right? Like if you get 100 headshots with a weapon, not just kills, but headshots, and let's say you only get 100 headshots, they should have tailored progression so that your 100th headshot max levels your weapon. Like that's how the progression should have done. But the reality is, for many, many weapons, like you can move quickly through the levels, and especially if you only use them for grinding, like you'll just hit, you know, mid-level. Like you won't even have a max level weapon by the time you're done. And it's just it's indicative of how they've kind of operated. And I'm going to point to another thing that's like, it's frivolous. This is a frivolous point, but I think it's an important point. Every game just about since MW 2019, once a week, give or take, they give you something free in the store. And it's a little icon, it's a spray, it's, you know, it's a sticker for your gun. It's bullshit that you will never use. But they give you something free in the store, and you go over to the store and you click the button and it goes like, you bought it. Congratulations, you bought this for $0. Here's your thing. They have every other day, like clockwork, given us double XP tokens of some form or another.
I think you're jumping the gun on this a little bit. I know where you're going. I think you're jumping the gun. I think we wait until we roll into this next game and see. Well, that's actually Treyarch. I bet they'll do that the next game, BO7. But when we get to Modern Warfare 4, let's see if they do the same thing.
I mean,
because that could be a philosophy shift. Because again, the metrics are about playtime and retention. No.
Yeah, I mean but again, like they have up until this game, I feel like they have done a good job of balancing the incentives to do to play with, you know, with the effort that you put into it. So, like for example, MW3 is a perfect example of like, let's just come up with how to get you to play more often. Every week, there's a set of challenges. You do the challenges every week. At the end of every season, you get a camo for it. you do, you get daily challenges, you get weekly challenges. They're always different. They're always kind of fun, unique. Free stuff in the store periodically just for showing up. But the events were great. The events were like, think of how much fun the safe event was in Verdansk, right? You got to run around, open the safes to find skins and find all this other stuff, right? It was something to do. Every event prior to that was some variation of just play for XP. Like, all right, cool. So just play the game and you get stuff, and it's usually done in the first day. Like, there's an attitude shift of like, we're just, and they haven't even, like, they didn't even entice us with anything like valuable. Like, it was like camo, like when did we get our first camo? Like earlier this season. But there's just like,
yeah, that was cool, Illiterate.
There hasn't been a lot to encourage us besides just raw playtime. Like, they're not, that every game wants you to play their game more, right? Like, of course they do. Every game wants you to play their game all the time as much as possible, because that increases the player pool. That means there's more people on, it increases money, right? I'm sure there's a ratio of like how many players to how much money per hour they're going to earn through MTX and other things. So I don't disagree, but like this year specifically, like the amount of stuff that you can work for is just abysmal, and the effort they put into giving us something to do equally as abysmal. And it's been frustrating to like it's been a frustration this year. It's like it is, last year, I'm not going to be, there were times last year where I'm like, all right, this game is in a bad spot. I don't really feel like playing, but I need to finish, I need to at least log on and do the challenges for the week so that I can keep that streak alive, so I can get that camo, so I can have the whole collection when it's done. And I mean, that was worth logging into. This year, it's like, I don't know, what was the last event? There was just another one. And it was like playtime, like I don't know what you got. Like, it's the first time there are events I haven't even finished. Like, I'm like, I don't care.
I legit don't even like care. Like, the Beavis and because also too, here's the thing. What have the events been this year?
Weed
and fucking Beavis and Butthead.
Cartoons.
Like, nothing. We had a ballerina event. We had that.
Yeah.
But like, it's been weed or Beavis and Butthead, and I'm just like, I don't mind either one of those things, but they're not really that important to me. So
1, 2, 3.
I'm out on it. And, I'm, and I get, because I know you like the grind and you know, those kind of things, but like, to me, what's more disappointing is the fact that I can't go hop on and play multiplayer like I want to. I just can't do it because the matchmaking fuckery is so screwed up. And the way they balance the teams, it's just not fun. It's it's losing more than winning, no matter how well I play. And that's what's more frustrating to me is like, I haven't touched multiplayer since April. And dude, I spent several hours. I played Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer up until the night before Black Ops 6 came out.
Yep. You were trying to break even.
Yeah, and I did.
And you did. Congratulations.
I did, but like, I like the multiplayer, but it's like that cycle that we talk about, right? Like I had friends, and you even commented, you're like, oh my God, look at your win-loss ratio. It was fucking incredible. It was almost a 2. And it just gradually went down after people just stopped playing the game. So yeah, like that's frustrating. But like, have you played any like Warzone? Like, are you playing casual, or what were you playing?
I played some Resurgence, and then obviously a lot of casual for the camos. But yeah, I played some Resurgence, played some. I didn't play any BR. I mean, I'm at the point where it's kind of like I don't really see the point in playing. If I'm not playing ranked, like unless I have friends on, I'm not gonna bother playing. Like I if it wasn't for casual, I wouldn't even log on unless I was gonna log on for ranked, which is its own thing. But
I've mostly been playing solos.
I hate solos so much. I
sold one so fucking bad the other day, dude. I had the power position too. Well, I had it until I didn't have it. I was on top of stadium, and I cleared it off. I had people fucking trying to fly in with helicopters, and I'm like, thermite, but like I killed them.
Nice.
I ended up, so the final circle ends up in the middle of stadium, like literally the middle. And I was looking over the top, and I accidentally fell off. And one of the two guys that was left besides me heard my shoot and fucking killed me. I sold so bad. I was so fucking mad, dude. I think I had like 10 kills that game. I was actually doing decent.
Nice. Yeah, I had one. I sold one. Sold one the other night. It was the last few. I don't know. There was like a couple left. And I saw one guy, and I had him one shot. One shot, right? We always say one shot. Had him one shot. Chased him up the zip line to prison, and I didn't realize that he was diving headlong into the last remaining full squad. And so I went, I was close to enough money for a buyback, and there was enough time. So if I got up there and I killed him quickly, I could have jumped down and bought my squad back. So I jump up there, and then as soon as I get up there, he goes down, and I look, and there are 4 guys just already pre-aiming me. And I'm like, well, that's not going to work. And that was the end of that.
That sucks, dude.
Well.
It's like those like decisions like that cost you. It's like, right after you do it, you're like, fuck, man. Like,
that was
I
a poor
sold
choice.
my ass off on that.
Yep.
But dude, so I gotta tell you too, the rumors I'm hearing that I've seen that like Ghost of Hope have released on Black Ops 7, I'm not overly excited about it, dude. And the biggest thing is the specialists he says are coming back, which I'm fucking, that doesn't belong in a goddamn Call of Duty game, bro. It doesn't. Why? I won't play. That's the only thing I hated about Black Ops 4. Literally the only thing I hated. The specialists were stupid. And I don't like that.
Again, it's like, it's not a hero shooter. Stop trying to make it that way.
And did you see the operators that you get for like the, what the fuck is that, dude?
I mean, I've said it before. I've said it repeatedly. I stopped playing Call of Duty after playing Advanced Warfare, because the whole future tech thing doesn't work. It's not future enough where you get cool mechs and they do stuff well, like Titanfall. But it's like, it's just enough that all the tech is annoying and all the abilities are irritating to play against. And it's like, I just am not. It's the same thing with like Tom Clancy, right? He had Wildlands, and then it was what was the sequel to that? There was Wildlands, which was phenomenal. I played the shit out of that game. And then there was the sequel. What was it called? Like,
it was Breakpoint, dude.
Breakpoint was just, I played it for like I bought it. I was so excited. Like an hour and a half into, I'm like getting buzzed by drone swarms, and I'm like, fuck it. This game is trash. I'm out.
I never played that one. I played Wildlands a little bit, but I was playing it before it because, it launched without the PvP. And, like Jigsy and Roots and Just and those guys were actually Ghost Recon pros on Wildlands, like when the PvP came out.
Yeah.
Like when Breakpoint came out, they played it, and I think in the beta or maybe the first week, and never touched it again. They were like, this game's fucking dog shit. And their gripe was actually the mechanics of it in some ways. So I found
don't think
that
I played it enough to really get to that point. I'll tell you
what,
I'm
not interested in Ghost Recon like that. Either one of those two games. Like I want it to go back to what it was, not what it is.
Rainbow Six Siege.
Well, that's another one, dude. Like I want like Ghost Recon 2, Summit Strike, even Graw and Graw 2, right? Like that because that had just enough tech to where it was future-ish, but not like it wasn't, the game wasn't built around the tech.
Right.
And see, that's the thing. You can't take these shooters and build the game around abilities and tech when that's not what they were made for.
But Jay, it's real. It's authentic. It's how it is. bitch, have you seen what's going on in the Ukraine? You think that's a first-person shooter anybody's going to want to play? There will never be a Ukraine first-person shooter. You know why? Because nobody's fucking first-person shooting. They're getting bombed by drones.
Yeah,
like,
it's
it'll
all
be
fucking
drone
drones,
warfare
dude.
101. Like, that'll be the game, right? It's not like Desert Storm or, Vietnam or World War II.
Even the last Iraq and Operation Iraqi Freedom or fucking
like
the other one.
They've done a couple games based on that. And it all works. It's all, it's a fun game to play. This shit that we're getting into is not fun to make a game out of. Like, it's not what we want for a game. Like, at the end of the day, like, this is not going to make it fun. It's not future enough where the tech is fun, but it's like, it's too real where it's like, all right, I'm ready to go play and get my, get my soldier, and I've got my M4, and then I'm bombed by a drone. Like, fuck that.
So I gotta tell you, like, I actually liked Infinite Warfare because I feel like that fit right into what you just said. It was future enough where, like, the tech and everything, but the movement wasn't like Advanced Warfare, right? You had a power slide and maybe a little bit of wall running, and that was it. There was no double jumps, none of that other nonsense. You didn't get that, right?
It's the one it's the one on my shelf I haven't actually played yet. So
I liked that game a lot, actually.
I heard the story was great. I heard the campaign was phenomenal. So I have the intention of firing it up one of these days and just to try the campaign.
And Ghosts actually, dude, I got to be honest, is probably my favorite Call of Duty.
That'll make you a pariah if you put that on the internet.
I'm already a fucking pariah, dude, because apparently I can't have an opinion without it, like, someone being like, oh, you're just fucking following everybody else. It's like, dude, anybody that knows me knows I come up with my own shit, Fuck
allegedly.
You. Yeah, allegedly. But anyway, so, like, between that, what I've seen on Black Ops 7 and wondering, like, what is that going to do to Warzone? Like, I'm just not really, like... I'm probably going to be taking, if I don't take the full year off, I'm going to fucking drastically cut how much I play Call of Duty.
Yeah. If it's on if it's on Game Pass, I'll log time on it. I've got friends that are probably going to not switch over to anything else. So I will, log time with them. But everything I see tells me I'm not going to enjoy this game. Maybe I'll be surprised. I will give it a fair shot. I might play the beta. I might wait for the real game. We'll see.
Yeah, definitely I'm gonna play the beta. Like, that's the thing, dude. Like we will play the beta or whatever. But it's just like it's all of that for me, and then the idea of, like, the writing that's on the wall with what they're doing. With, like, pubs and casual and all that. It's like, I just fucking don't. I have no interest in playing a dumbed down game like that. Like, I just don't want to do it. I'll find something else. Like, I feel like I may have broken my addiction to Call of Duty, actually.
Well, we'll see. So we've got some time. We've got some time to see what they come up with.
What did you think of? So we've had the first, and we're in the middle of the second week. And I know you played in the alpha. That's cool. But, like, what did you think of the first beta weekend and so far this one? Have you gotten to play any at all? I played
a little bit. I did not play nearly as much as I wanted to in the first beta weekend. There was a lot. It was busy. The second week, this weekend, I logged all Thursday, Friday, Thursday. What is today? Today's Saturday.
Today's Saturday.
Yesterday it wasn't working. Thursday I played. So I finished the grind on Wednesday, and then I finished the camo grind on Wednesday. Played all I played on Thursday was Battlefield, and it actually was great. Had a great time. Was able to actually focus. So my KD in the first weekend was an even 1.
What role were you playing?
A mix of assault and recon. This time it's probably a 2.5. Like, in the alpha, I averaged about a 3. To give you perspective,
it was. I have probably 90% of my matches played the medic class, so my KD in it wasn't very good, and I don't really care about that as much in Battlefield. I mean, because also I know that eventually it'll, like, even out anyway.
Yeah.
But like, you know, I'm having hella fun playing the game. Like I like being the medic and, you know, with the defibrillator paddles, and then you can also get a kill with it too. Like that's fucking dope.
Have you gotten
you
a kill with
could
that
in the
yet?
other one too, but
Have you gotten a kill with that yet? With
yeah,
the paddles?
I got one and I got
Yes.
killed once with it.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, so my preference, you know, I like to play recon and I like sniping in that game. The sniping feels good. It feels
way
really
more
good.
It's rewarding as shit to snipe.
And here's what I want
to
say for everybody who's tried it in the beta, I promise you that's the shittiest sniper rifle of the 3 that they had that they'll have at launch, allegedly. I played a different one with way better attachments, great barrel, different ammo type, better optic, and dude, like I think my longest shot was 240 meters, 230 meters in the alpha. This one, it's only about 200 meters. But it was like when you get rolling with that and you get the feel for it, it feels really good. Yeah, they had a great they have a better scope that is not in this one. It's like a 6x by 10x, I think, and it's got a better mil dot. So a lot of them, they have a lot of optics with chevrons, which are I hate. I can't do a chevron. Like I don't know where to put it on the body. It just pisses me off more than anything else. Just give me a dot and maybe some hash marks below it.
Yeah, I always prefer the traditional mil dot.
Yeah.
You know, in the crosshairs. Like I like that. I've sniped a little bit, and it is, dude. It's rewarding as shit when you do it. And I like how realistic they make it too. Like, so to rechamber, you got to get out of the scope. You know what I mean?
Only on that one. On other ones that didn't do that.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that one did it. Other ones don't. Which, you know, and it could be, and again, that could have been just an alpha thing, right? Where it's like there. But, you know, I had a couple of great sniper battles at like extended range. I had one. I put a clip up the other day, I think yesterday, of just some clips. But there was one guy on a hill. We were on that desert one. I forget the name of it, the map. And I was up in like this one perch that everybody, you know, it's like C, I think. And then I'm shooting at people trying to push up. And I look over and there's a guy on a hill 150 meters away. And he's glinting at me and he's actually shooting into people in my like he's supporting the push into the capture. So he's like knocking people down. So I turn around and I hit him. I don't get the full kill. But I hit him and so now he's aware that I exist and I obviously know he exists. And he just like he like ducks down, pops up, and we're back and forth probably 6-7 shots before he hits me for a good chunk, and then I drop him for a full. And it was the kind of thing where it was very satisfying and not something you run into with COD nearly as much, where it's like usually if you're sniping with COD, you don't get that back and forth feel. Like you don't get that battle, right? It's like you hit or you don't. Like that's just how COD feels these days. So really satisfying to shoot. And then assault's a lot of fun. I killed a guy with one of those mounted tow missiles. I put that in the clip too. Just like one of the maps. I hit it, just fired it off and just dropped it right on his face. It was hilarious. I found it hilarious. I think that's one of the things that Battlefield has that COD doesn't have right now, especially in Warzone, is the ability to just do goofy shit and have it work out. Like I feel like the ability to goof off in Battlefield is so much higher. Now, I'll tell you, people don't really appreciate it when you're goofing off and just doing dumb shit because you think it's funny or you want to. Your teammates get real mad that you're not capturing stuff, and they get kind of irritated at you.
Well, I mean, it's an objective-based game, you know, like, but I played the squad deathmatch yesterday. I played one match, me, Lizard, Bailey, and their friend Sean, and it was fucking hella fun, dude. Like, I'll be playing that mode some. I had a great time playing that mode. Like, it was really fun to play that, and you know, mainly the main mode I like is Conquest, like large-scale Conquest. I like the vehicles, like. did I hear correctly? Like, because the first week I felt like the vehicles were really cumbersome, and I couldn't really get my bearings in them. So it makes me wonder if they reworked those controls, because yesterday driving the tank was a lot better for me. And then flying the Apache was, and I mean, even the jet, I've never been able to fly jets worth of fuck. And I was fucking like Maverick last night, dude.
I
Until
have
I wasn't.
I have not taken an aircraft up. I actually have not flown an aircraft in Battlefield since since Battlefield 2, because I'm not good at it.
So I wasn't, but you know me. Battlefield 4 had a like a practice range where you could work the vehicles and practice those. So I spent a lot of time in that practice range learning how to fly the vehicles and drive the tanks and the APCs and, you know, those kind of things. And I enjoy that part of Battlefield. I like the gunfighting too. Like, you know, like on maps like Operation Metro or like even Locker from Battlefield 4, like those there were no vehicles in those. It was all just gunfighting, right? And like that was fun.
And the smaller maps, if I'm trying to remember from the alpha, some of them had vehicles, but some of them did not. And so here's the thing, like, cause we tested these modes in alpha build, and so I didn't feel the need to play them. I don't love when Battlefield does the COD style maps, like the modes. Like, that's just, to me, it's kind of like, I play Battlefield for the big maps, for the destruction, for being able to be like, all right, this sniper's pissing me off. He's killed me twice. Get me a tank. I'm going to go show that stim sliding movement bitch exactly how to deal with, how to play this game. And then blow up not only him, but the entire house he's hiding in and run it over. Like, not saying I've done that, but I've done that. Like, screw you and the house you're hiding in. And so I think for Battlefield, like, that's its strength. That is the strength of Battlefield. That is where it is the best. And, kind of like, just like with Call of Duty, right? When they have ground war, it doesn't feel, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel as good as their 6v6 modes, right? Because that's not the strength of Call of Duty.
Yeah, that's not what Call of Duty is. And, and that was the mistake Battlefield made fucking 2042. They tried to out COD, and,
it didn't work.
And it didn't. No, it was a miserable failure. And I will tell you this. I'm going to say this, and I tweeted this and caught a little bit of shit for it, but I don't give a fuck. Based on what I see in this beta, just based on the beta, and I know the full game is going to be better, Battlefield is in fact back. This game does feel like Battlefield 4 to me, and it's fun as hell. Like, it is fun as hell. Like, I'm kind of that's the one thing about the beta, though. They only let you play a few maps, so it kind of gets boring running the same shit all the time. But, like, yeah, Battlefield is back. This game feels like a Battlefield. Now, they reworked a couple things. So, the medic class now also drops ammo when they drop their pack, whereas Battlefield 4, that was separate. That was, right. I believe that was assault or throughout an assault pack or whatever. And, but like, I'm having a great time playing it.
In the alpha, they were separate too. Like the medic, well, I don't know. I don't remember if the medic did as well, but the assault class had an ammo box. Somebody had an ammo box because there were both, and they were not medics dropping it. You could drop it. I think it was assault that had it. So they jiggered that around for beta. And that's something that's interesting about this beta versus like what Call of Duty. We're used to Call of Duty. I'll tell you this: we have become used to Call of Duty sending out a beta, right? And the reality is they're not testing anything; they're demoing it. They are giving us a demo.
They're a marketing company that has video games,
right? And so we are used to getting we're used to having a very polished, game ready experience, right? Like a couple weeks before launch, and so I think it's one of those things where when you look at what we're getting right now, we're getting a very functional beta. And I mean, I've run beta testing. I've done this sort of thing from the other side of it. And it's like you do this, when you do this, it's like you know what's going to break, you know what's not ready, and what you're actually not going to include for them. Like it's like I know you're not going to get the perfect experience, and I'm ready for it. And I think there's been a lot of pushback because matchmaking's been weird. And I've just been like watching people. I teed off on somebody last night because I was just so irritated at their.
I saw that. That was unlike you. That's not usually your department in this podcast.
But basically, like when you're doing it, this is a technical beta, right? Like this is them stress testing stuff at scale. Like they, it's like, and here's the thing, like when you do software, it's like you have an idea and on paper, you write it down and you program it to work a certain way. And you say, all right, it'll work a certain way. And you'll have everybody in the company like testing it. Right. But that's not really load, right? This stuff, you'll have maybe a few hundred people trying something. Even in the alpha builds, we had so many problems. This is night and day. This is release quality compared to the alpha builds. But in the beta, in a widespread beta like this, I mean, it's the first time you're really getting 1 million people on at the same time. And I think, that's been good. And then they're responding to feedback. So the thing that I teed off on was the custom matchmaking. Like that's new. And they added that. Like there has been no talk about that, even in the Discord being in any of the beta. They literally added that on like Tuesday for like a Thursday release. And sure enough, it's not working right? It's creating problems. I can see in how the game is functioning now versus then. And when people are using that, I can see the problem that they're running into problems. And so it's like, to me, having been that, it's very clear that adding the custom search was not 100% ready, and it's creating problems. And maybe they thought it was ready and they're discovering problems that they didn't anticipate, which is great. This is perfect. It is what this weekend is for. It is for them to add some functionality, discover errors in either the planning or implementation of it, and then they can fix it later. And so, and I don't recall a test that had custom search, like custom matchmaking in the alpha. So this is their first time trying it as far as I'm aware. And it created problems, right? Like,
I mean, it worked for me last night. I went in and did it for a little while.
And I think it's one of those things that it's not everybody. Like there's certain scenarios, there's certain issues, and they've been having matchmaking issues all weekend. And they've been vocal about it on their comms account. Like, so they've been saying that they're having issues with matchmaking this weekend that they didn't have last weekend. And I think it's two things. One is they're radically changing game modes day to day, right? So Thursday was flawless for me. Friday, last night, like I couldn't get in. Like I was just queued to like 18,000 or something like that. And I'm like, sorry, I'm not waiting for that.
It actually goes fast, dude. It's not that queued. I think I was at like 150,000 when the whole thing fucking started last week, and I was in a game within 10 minutes.
Yeah, from my point of view, I just wanted to play something, and if that wasn't working, there are new secret challenges in Call of Duty this week, so I'm like, I just go do those. But yeah, it's like, but people are getting on there, and it's like the first thing people have done has been like, oh, obviously SBMM is in. Like they've lied to us this whole time. Like that's just where they went to. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Do you have no idea how any of this works? Obviously not.
Well, I think people are worried about that. I mean, they really are, because listen, the one thing I will say is this. In Battlefield, I never felt like I was getting bent over by an algorithm, okay? In Call of Duty, that's not the case, and people are worried that type of bullshit will come over. So naturally, people might be overreacting about some of that. And that's why. So honestly, that's why being able to have custom servers and like being able to a server browser, that's why that is so important, because with a server browser, the skill part of it, you know what I mean? Like you can go into someone's custom rented server, you know, like there back in Battlefield 4, there was like an Air Force one, an Army one, or whatever. Like they actually, like, veterans had their own, and like there were some milsim ones, like strict milsim. They're like, if you operate a vehicle outside of what it's supposed to do, you're fucking gone. Like that kind of shit. But like you didn't have that algorithmic fuckery over there in Battlefield 4. And we obviously know that we do have it in Call of Duty, and people don't want that.
You know, which I understand, but I mean, you have to put yourself in the shoes of the company and what they're trying to do with this, because Battlefield is still remains a bit of a niche game compared to obviously Call of Duty and like other franchises, right? Like, you know, EA, like Madden, right? Compared to, you know, just size and scale. And EA has really put their foot down and said, we are going to invest heavily in this game because we want it to reach that level. Well, I don't know who needs to hear this, but server browsers are not user friendly. They're not new user friendly. If you pull up images and you've never played the game before and you're coming from, like, say, Call of Duty or some of these other games, and you look at a server browser, the fuck are you supposed to do?
Well, if they separate it, right? Like, so, like, leave the UI where they have the tiles for the different modes, and then also give you a tile into that, like that portal, which is what I think they're doing. Like, you go into the portal and you can just look at the different servers. So separate it. Make
so
it,
in other words, have like a quick play menu,
yes,
where you can just click a button and get into a game.
And like, and that'll take you into the EA official servers. Like, if you click on the tile, your EA official servers, that's what you're in. So
you could have like a conquest server.
Yeah.
And you could have like a team deathmatch server, right? So that is exactly what we have now, where it's like you click the button to quick play into conquest and it loads you into the first available conquest game.
Yeah, just leave it the same. Like,
and then you could have another section where it's, you can click on it and you can customize your experience, and you can look at other customized experiences, and you can click on the servers that people post up and that create and their options.
You need to be able to, as long as they make sure that you can go in and see the rule set for that specific server, who owns it, the ping, how many players are in it.
And some of them will be custom servers from EA. Some of them will be custom servers from players, and
make it easy to get to.
So literally exactly what they've described and said they're doing.
Well, like, what I saw yesterday
exactly
was
what they said they're doing.
Like, I could choose game modes from Call of Duty. Like, you know how, like, you can pick, like, for your search, for your quick search, you can pick, like, kill confirmed, team deathmatch, domination. Like, I saw that part of it, but I didn't see any custom servers. Like, which they're not going to have them in a beta anyway. Yeah. So just as long as they make the UI easy to use.
This is what I'm saying. That EA has described exactly what people want, right? And it's like, and they are also accommodating new players who are coming in who don't know what to even look for in a server. They don't know what a server is supposed to be. Yeah. And so they're sitting there, and you know, they've said they're doing this stuff, and people are just, I feel like people are willfully not listening and just screaming server, you know, spamming server browser in the chat because they're like unwilling to look at what EA is. And I will gladly say that EA has said, or has a track record of absolute fuckery, like across various titles, sports titles, notwithstanding, right? Like, so I get that there's a lack of trust, but at the same time, it's like, you can only, you know, the thing that irritates me with how people are behaving with this beta is that they don't have to do this. They could do what COD does and what they've done in the past, which is they make the game that they want to make and they give it to us, and, you know, and they say, enjoy it or get fucked. And they literally have developed this game alongside players through their Battlefield Lab system. Like, understand how remarkable that is for a top tier studio, for a AAA studio on a major, like, publisher like EA, to sit there and say, we are going to spend months letting you try things And if you don't like it, we take it out. And they already did that with what was it they took out? They tried, oh God, I can't remember. They tried some feature that was like everybody hated it. They were like, this sucks. This is stupid. They took it out immediately. I forget what it was.
But, they did that with Battlefield 2042. They basically said, this is the game we made. You don't like it, get fucked. You need to. Battlefield is a game. I mean, most of these games are, but specifically Battlefield is a game that you need to make sure that your core player base is happy with the game, period. Like,
but it also has to be accessible. It has to be accessible for the casual players who are trying to steal from other games. So,
but because otherwise, if you don't and you turn it into another game, you get 2042 again, and you will officially probably kill your franchise. Like if they don't hit this the way they did with Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, that's a fucking wrap, dude. You're gonna lose a lot of Battlefield fans. So I get why the people feel this way, dude.
If they don't, if they don't deliver a game with growth, right? If they're only bringing in the core Battlefield fans, then the game is dead anyways. It's not going to sustain the cost of development.
You can grow a game and keep your identity. Like, that's the thing. And that's why there's also like the gatekeeping that people are doing. I kind of fucking understand it, dude. As a fan of both franchises, I want them to be different. I don't want Call of Duty fuckboys coming over and ruining Battlefield and turning it into Call of Duty. Like,
but I've said like this, people, and I've said this before. You're not going to get the core Call of Duty fans to come over. They're just not going to.
They're
going to stay in Call of Duty and they're going to chirp on Twitter, just like Battlefield fans have been chirping on Twitter and not playing Call of Duty for like 3 years.
I feel like I'm kind of a hybrid of both because I'm legitimately a fan of both. Like, I have several hours in both and across multiple titles. Like, and I will continue to play both. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I want personally, like, I want them to be different. I don't want them to be, I don't want Call of Duty to be like Battlefield, and I don't want Battlefield to be like Call of Duty. So I, to a degree, understand the gatekeeping, and and again, you can grow while keeping your same identity. Like this fucking idea that you have to make the game like other games to grow is, I think it's absurd personally.
Well, you have to make it familiar to players, right? Like I'm gonna point to Tarkov because it's the perfect example of a game that says fuck new players. We're gonna make the game we want to play, and the hardcore players that love our game will just keep coming back. Which is true, right? But what is the saying? If you want to get good at Tarkov, you got to put 100 hours in before you can start having fun in the game. Like, great. The players that sit down and decide that they want to learn Tarkov will put the time in, and they will eventually become players of the game and find some fun in it somehow. And I know that to be true because I've literally watched YouTube like how to play videos. And I think one was a 2.5 video dedicated. It was part like 5 or 6 of 13 or 14 2 or 3 hour videos about how to play the game. And it was how to heal yourself. It was all of the if you're shot like this, then you have to get this kind of bandage. And like, if you have this, you need this kind of it's like Gray Zone, right? Like on steroids, where it's like, all right, you've got a head injury. How do you treat the head injury? You have to sit there and go through all this, 20 different things, right? It's not accessible, but that's okay because it's not supposed to be accessible. It's supposed to be realistic and challenging and a lot to learn. Battlefield can't do that, right? Like they can't do that and grow, because if you look at like the players out there that are going to be, that are up for grabs. And I talked about this in a previous video where, Call of Duty has about a 20 million player base, like 20 million person player base at the end of the day. Like in and out, doesn't matter the game. If you look at the numbers that came out, we had 20 million people in March for the last 3 games, right? And they are all 3 very different games in 3 very different places in March. And so the takeaway is that there's 20 million people going to show up to Call of Duty no matter what. Doesn't matter what kind of game it is. And I guarantee in March of this year or of next year, there'll be 20 million people playing Black Ops 7 and Warzone. All right. They're not going to go to Battlefield. They might install it for 5 minutes and try it and be like, not for me. Because that's what they want. They want the Call of Duty feel and experience. But if you look at launch, there's another 15, 20 million first-person shooter players out there who will play the game. And they will try the game. And they may or may not have had an experience playing Battlefield. And so if they walk in and they have to start sorting out server browsers as their first experience of like, what do I play? Like, they're not going to come back. They're going to go back to COD where they can just say, play now. Load in, play now. And they can actually get into the game and start learning how to play the game, right? That's how you create fans, is you get them into the game, you teach them the game, you get them to learn the game, and then you give them the advanced section, like to go have fun. And so I think it's one of those things where Battlefield has to have both sides. They have to have the play now button. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Play now. Get me in the game. Let me figure it out. And that's how you're going to capture these floating players that like bounce from game to game that aren't hardcore. But you also have to have the server browsers and the custom games and the persistent servers for everybody else who is a hardcore player. And you have to balance the two. And I think from what they've said and what we've experienced, they're doing a good job. Right? Like they're giving you both options. They're both there.
And I don't have any complaints as long as they make it easy, but you also have that server browser thing. And if they said that's what they're doing, then cool, man. Like, it's funny too. Like, I was thinking about this, when you mentioned the COD always having like 20 million in March or whatever, I wonder how much of that could potentially change if there's going to be other options, because I don't really feel like there's been other options even to this point. Even with this beta being good, I need to see the full release to see if there's options to play, because it's like, I know, like for you and I, like you said earlier, you're like, I know the game's in a bad state, but I need to, I want to get on and grind this or that. Like, you didn't have any other options to really fucking play. I haven't had any other options. So I wonder how much of that could potentially change once there are options of other games to play that are decent.
And I think it's a mentality though. There's a different mentality in the game because 6v6 or the 6v6 fast-paced arena Call of Duty game is so different than Conquest, right? It just is. And it's like, and that's why I think Ground War just isn't that thrilling for most people, because it's like it's the 6v6 feel on a giant map with so much more like uncontrollable chaos. I just don't see there being a lot of crossover. And it's like, even among, my friends that like the people that are like tired of Call of Duty right now, the idea of playing Conquest or playing Battlefield to them, it's just like, it's just a no. They're like, I'm not going to play it. What they will play and what they are interested in, and I'm interested in, is the BR. Because the BR is the first time I think that Battlefield and Call of Duty are actually competing head to head for the same players. Like, I think they're going to I think the BR will be the first time, BR and Warzone will be the first time Battlefield and Call of Duty are going to compete for the same player base. And I think it's going to be spectacular if they nail it.
Well, yeah. And I want them both to be good, but I'm going to tell you right now, I want Warzone. I want them to take a few licks. I want them to learn a few lessons and actually have to fucking sit down and look at how they've operated their game over the last 5 years with everything from the anti-cheat to fucking matchmaking to I want them to seriously question what they're doing and whether that's the right way to go about it. Because to this point, it hadn't fucking mattered. They're like, fuck you. I don't care. What are you going to play? You're not going to play Apex. You don't like that.
Don't worry. They're too big to fail.
Yeah. They've been too big to fail. I want them to be uncomfortable for a while. At the very least, that's what I want.
I want
it to be good. I want to go back and play it.
I think they will feel it, and I look, you put a tinfoil hat on. I think it's, I think it is entirely possible they looked at this point in time and they saw Battlefield coming. We were supposed to get GTA 6 this year. And I think that there's a number of titles all that they anticipated coming out, and I think they just kind of threw it away. Like I think they viewed this as like a throwaway.
Yeah.
And MW4 is going to be, kind of like, I think they're trying to envision it, MW4 being what MW 2019 is, where it's like a reset and it brings everybody back and everybody's excited because it's been wonky up to this point. Because it'll be 2 years of this of Treyarch, 2 years of Black Ops 6, Black Ops, this Black Ops era where they're just anime skins everywhere.
Yeah.
And I think in some capacity, like it's possible. I have no insider information on this, so don't quote me on it. But I think it's plausible that they're like, we're just gonna kind of try whatever. We're just gonna get our shakes out, get everything out, and then and the minority of people who love this sort of stuff will just feast for a year, and then we'll justify the loss in players and the attitude to reboot everything and say, hey, we learned our lesson again. We're trying again. Fairly
optimistic about, I can't believe I'm saying this, about Infinity Ward. We'll see what they do with their title. I know that this year and next year will be basically testing out the bots so they can, further fucking manipulate things. Like in the matchmaking or whatever. I think that's probably going to be the biggest thing that they're doing is like trying to figure out how to make that work from a Warzone standpoint.
Yeah.
Like Greg had mentioned, a few episodes ago, he at one point wanted to put them in multiplayer too. I don't know if that'll fly, but that's a conversation for another day. I know we're running on time. It's anniversary day.
Yep. So, yeah, I mean, all right. So I think we're in a weird spot. I think hopefully we'll see some progress going forward. I hope Battlefield nails it. I really hope they do. I think from everything that I have played and everything I have seen and heard and things they've said, especially the things I'm not allowed to say that they said, I think Battlefield is going to be the best effort Battlefield has made since BF1. Like, I think this will be, this is their right? This is their moment, their chance, and it's going to hinge on the BR.
They're ballsy on their release time too, by the way. Like, even with COD being down bad, like, that's pretty fucking ballsy. Like, normally, if I remember correctly, they had usually a spring release. So for them to go head to head, which they are going head to head with the yearly COD title this year, it's, that's pretty fucking ballsy.
And they're gonna beat them out by almost a month and a half.
I think COD will still outsell Battlefield, but I think Battlefield's going to gain for sure.
I mean, look, Call of Duty, I don't know everything they've been doing, everything they've been saying. I don't know. Like, again, it goes back, like, look at me. What my point of view, like, this near future drone strike bullshit that like they're teasing and we're hearing about, like, that's a no from me. Like, straight up, like, I don't care. I am not interested. I will not pre-order this, and it's like I look at the pre-order bonuses we got for BO6, that's a no. And so I look at MW3. MW3 was at launch, and I told you this, then, and the numbers came out and justified it. It was a bit of a flop. It didn't capture that extra 15, 20 million people that they captured in MW2 and BO6, right? It was a follow-on, it was an add-on, it was a DLC. It had all the problems. It sold itself as appealing to the wrong people, I think. And so they took a hit on it, right? And then you add on to that, we're repeating that. And then you add on to that, it's set in a time period with features that a lot of folks aren't going to like, right? Like the boots on the ground folks survived, BO6. It's been fine with Omni movement, right? And people adapted and it fit well, and so it played well. So it wasn't like overcoming everything, but like they're gonna take, I think, a big hit on the player base because of the theme and some of the stuff. If what we're hearing comes true, and you get like double jumps and wall jumps and stuff, and
dude,
drones and future tech. I think a lot. I think, and Battlefield comes out with a gritty, modern, like, come over to Battlefield and just like fuck shit up, right,
dude? The 40. I'm just telling you, the 40-hour a week guys that play maybe five hours a week, like game time, they're not gonna like fucking any of that shit.
Yeah, and so, but I think that's a lot of the player pool that's up for grabs, and so I think that, you know, that 15-20 million players that show up at launch for COD and are gone by March, you know, I think they could go to Battlefield. I think if Battlefield lands and they have a clear direction of when the BR is coming, I think Battlefield takes a lot of players, a lot of the casual players away from Call of Duty's launch and puts them in a bad spot and forces them to do that. So I think it's going to be fun. I'm curious to see what they release, so we'll talk about that when it goes. I do have to go. We have to call it a shorter episode today because, as I said at the top of the episode, it is my anniversary. So if I spend the whole time talking to you guys, then my wife will kill me and you won't get another episode next week. So with that, I appreciate everybody hopping in. It's been great talking to you. Great episode. I'm excited to see what happens, and we'll catch you all next week.
Yeah, no, I appreciate everybody coming through.
This has been Subone KD, along with J007TV and the Slightly Above Average Gaming Podcast. We're logging off now, so we'll see you next time.